So, Marcos, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Marcos. I'm R&D coordinator from R&P. I'll be presenting today our IDS initiative regarding software-defined infrastructure. So R&P is a national advanced and network backbone that we provide connectivity services and our advanced services for collaboration and federated services to higher education, research and innovation institutions. We have a national backbone with point of presence on each state of Brazil. And today I'll be talking regarding this initiative that we began in 2015. We were initially looking onto the new drive of SDN with OpenFlow. And from that on, we evolved to a broader orchestration, including compute, storage, and we are converging to a distributed edge cloud model. And we're trying to deploy a pilot infrastructure to be provided for research and innovation. So what we have right now is a virtualizable programmable infrastructure that's composed of an SDN overlay network over our backbone and a nationwide distributed edge cloud. And we also developed an orchestration platform to integrate these resources to be deployed remotely on different type of services. And the idea here is to make our R&P owns infrastructure to evolve to support new requirements and projects. One of the main problems we have when we have a service that needs to be deployed that's based on only software, we have no problem in internalizing that after the R&D project. When we are talking about infrastructure, there is a broader impact that we need to co-work with the innovations so that we can also make the adjustments internally because this has a deeper impact. So what we have right now is 13 sites with SDN white box that we built from scratch using open source software. And we use Open vSwitch to create multi-tenant networks. And we also have servers with high density disks and processing that can be allocated in a single cluster with different stacks like Kubernetes or OpenStack, or we can take these servers out of this cluster and allocate directly to specific needs from our research, as I will show later. And in the networking part, we can create different substracts of the network with guaranteed bandwidth and tunneling to the edge using many technologies. And from the Edge Cloud, we are providing different approaches using bare metal orchestration, containers, and VMs. We also developed this orchestrator based on ONOS. It was initially a solution to virtualize switches using SDN and provide dedicated control planes to each tenant. And we are basically integrating different solutions like Open vSwitch. The NSA project is an academic standard to provide guaranteed bandwidth, and also Docker and Kubernetes for containers, and also some internal cluster resources like networking and storage. And we're also working with bare metal orchestration and VMs using the MES project from Canonical. And the idea is that we are trying to do a very fast and lean development to either acquire the required expertise and move on to a more integrated and upstream approach. So in next versions, we'll be trying to integrate the orchestration solution using a mix of Kubernetes and OpenStack and starting to have less code developed by our own. And also, this is one of our proof of concepts. It was presented on May in a workshop from R&P. And the idea here was to extend existing service for video delivery service on demand. And we extended it using tunnels to our own infrastructure that we said there. We showed before in São Paulo and Rio Grande do Sul. And we provided a way to integrate different caches, remote caches on existing infrastructure with a minimal effort from the current operation team on the central service. And the idea was to provide a cache inside the event, so all the attendants that wanted to see the stream that we were providing on our booth, they were automatically redirected to that cache, and when we remove it, you were redirected to the next cache, what was in São Paulo. So this was a way to show dynamic deployment of this whole stack using containers and tunneling to extend the private control plane network from the service. And the idea is to have a better optimization of the resources. The current service is running on static VMs, and the idea is that we want to provide it on a more dynamic and providing the infrastructure as a service paradigm to the service providers that we work with. So our ongoing activities in this project are the improvement of the architecture. As I said, we are trying to not create internal lock-in of development and trying to acquire more projects and initiatives from the community. We are highly based on open source foundations like OpenStack Foundation, Linux Foundation, and many projects that are integrating all these great solutions. We are also working heavily on automation, either from our current infrastructure that we're trying to integrate to these more dynamic provisioning solutions, and also security. There's something that we are looking more deeply right now. And we are also already working with some groups for the creation and evolution of advanced services, like flow analytics. So we have people from the engineering team from RNP and also from some research groups that are working with distributed flow collection from the backbone and using machine learning with the Elastic, Kibana, and Logstash stack to generate a lot of analysis from either configuration problems, faults, and attacks in a way that we couldn't do before because we didn't have enough computation resources on the same place, so we're now using this orchestration to make it distributed into our many sites. We also are working with CI/CD to create an easy way for our existing development solutions to be deployed on this distributed infrastructure. We have the video on-demand service based on a CDN that's developed by a startup that is a partner from ours, and we're trying to work with a mixed architecture for hybrid cloud on-premise solutions and also on public cloud. And we are also creating the RNP corporate container platform, and this is an initial joint initiative between R&D, RNP services, and IT teams. So this is a great advancement of having this new knowledge and helping other teams, because we are right now on some budget cuts with our providers, and normally we would work with external consultancies, and with this timing we could leverage all this current knowledge and expertise to provide this new infrastructure. Also working with NFV, with another group, and the idea is to have this single infrastructure for different needs. And we also are trying an edge cloud model for our point of presence. Currently is basically divided on two infrastructure, one for telco access provider and other for running services that we do on each POP, and it is to converge this in a single infrastructure with better automation and orchestration. And this is currently our vision for a converged infrastructure. So we have access to public cloud, we have internal cloud in RP, and this is centralized regions like Southeast São Paulo and Pernambuco at Northeast. And the idea is to get this infrastructure that can work with all our biggest loads or high demand services, but also aggregate our distributed capacity. We have a kind of 5 to 7 servers on each of these 27 POPs. And also we have many hardwares deployed on our institutions And the idea is to have a single orchestration substrate, and working on many projects that are trying to provide that. And here's an example of a distributed CDN when you have a repository in the cloud or private cloud, and other services or components like the edge server or the media gateway is distributed to better optimize the consumption of these resources, and also to have either low latency or we can support high capacity in a dynamic form. This is mainly being based on Kubernetes right now, but the bare metal orchestration, we are working on other solutions. And for future expectations, we are trying to provide this, the internal IT infrastructure that currently is based on very bureaucratic process for creating infrastructure to a more as a service defined process, and also integrated to the public cloud, and trying to create a few initiatives to have a use case to help with other partners. And also trying to promote the evolution of the POPs networking, point of presence networking services to NFV, and also we are offering different kinds of services like infrastructure, platform, and software based on open source and commercial ecosystems as part of what we are calling RMP Innovation Platform. This is a way that we can provide resources for either research groups or startups, and trying to bridge this gap that we have right now, and also to enable this kind of resources on all the regions of Brazil, because we have a lot of resources here in Southeast, but in other places, RMP can try to bring this initially. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Marcos. One quick question for Marcos. Very quick, lightning quick. No? No question? Okay, then let me call Alessandro. Thank you, Marcos.
Good morning.